This is Pete Lane. Welcome to Blind Abilities. And welcome to the next installment in our series on Aira. In this installment, we'll delve further into the role of the Aira Agent.
I would say in the next year, I'm excited to really have our agent population, our user population explode.
We'll speak with Amy Bernal, Director of Aira Agents.
You have to be able to converse with lots of different people.
And Patrick Lane, Aira Agent Analyst. We'll hear about agent responsibilities and the qualifications for someone aspiring to be an Aira agent.
In terms of qualifications, a lot of just gauging for, I don't really like to use the term customer service, but really, what is someone's demeanor? Are they empathetic but not sympathetic? Are they open-minded? Are they someone that you would want to go have coffee with?
They're all different personalities. They all have different interests. So you have to be able to adapt to every call as it comes in and remain a friendly person on the other end. It's actually really great.
We'll hear about the training.
Being realistic about if agents are going to really know and grasp 10 to 20 concepts, making sure that those are a really solid foundation, and then starting to kind of build continuous training throughout an agent's time with us. And I'm really excited just to continue to refine the training.
And most importantly, we'll hear about how Aira agents feel about their customers.
Showing Aira to people and talking about it and seeing the amount of people that come up at these shows because they've heard about it. They come up and they're like, I have to see this. I've heard about this. People are so excited to hear about us, and we're even more excited to tell them. Getting to see these users and potential users and people throughout the community and all the different companies and meeting them really makes you understand that the community itself is very special too. It's really amazing being a part of it.
And now, without further ado, let's join Amy and Patrick with their unique perspective on Aira Visual Interpreter for the Blind. Patrick, tell us about your training, the initial training you received as an Aira agent.
Okay, when we first started doing our training with Erin, we originally were sending her out into the world with us connected. She would wear the glasses and take us on training sessions, as well as go out with another blind user. His name is Juan.
Hi Juan, thanks for calling Aira. This is Erin.
Hey Erin, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Good. I'm at the mall and I really want to find some macaroons.
Sure. Juan, I think I'll have better luck if I pull it up online. Let me pull up the mall's website. Give me one moment.
He was involved in the training as well. We did training around the Aira headquarters, giving instruction to Erin and Juan and getting feedback from them. We've also talked with some orientation and mobility specialists about different kinds of terminology that we use, different ways to describe things in different orders you would give as somebody is walking.
So we have some buildings here on the left-hand side, curving around here to the left. It looks like the macaroon store is directly in front of you here.
Excellent.
So we've gone through several different forms of training with hands-on as well as study guide type of things. And then as far as experience beforehand, I have blind family members that I have been living with and cooperating with for a very long time that also provided a lot of real-life hands-on training.
Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Pete Lane.
So we've gone through lots of different kinds of training. At this point, we've been getting so much experience through the calls as well. That's really been amazing for all of the agents.
Hi, thank you for calling Aira. This is Carlos.
Aira is getting extremely busy with the calls.
And that's what the Explorer program is for, to help everybody grow and learn. Amy, you're the agent director. What would you have to say about the training program, and comment on how you modify the training as you've progressed over the last 5 months?
Yeah, so Patrick did a great job of explaining kind of the process in terms of, we do have a training manual that agents are asked to read prior to a half-day workshop where we essentially review the concepts, the orientation and mobility vocabulary, how we provide information, keeping it objective as possible, all those good things, and then really get some hands-on experience, first with sighted staff, secondly with blind staff.
So it looks like we are in front of the macaroons here. If you don't mind scanning your head so I can view where to order.
And then we also reach out to kind of friends and advisors who've raised their hand to work with our training agents. And then we do usually supervise the first few sessions that an agent takes with actual explorers. The training has, in my time here, gone from sort of a PDF manual to a tool that we have online that has that text And then we also have created some professional training videos to highlight different kind of common situations or use cases.
Thank you for calling Aira One. This is Amy. How can I help you today?
Hi, Amy. I'm here at this building. I need to find conference room 495. Can you help me find that?
Absolutely. Well, it looks like you are near elevators, and I see appears to be a door directly ahead. So let's move forward and start to find the number 495.
Types of details that a user would be likely to inquire about. The difference between users that work with a cane and a dog. What is it like for users to kind of work with their dog? Some of the common commands that they use.
That's forward. Okay. Forward. Good girl.
You're going to turn to the left, and I can see a number that looks like it is 400.
Celeste. Left. Left. Good girl.
So let's keep moving forward, and let's pause here. If you can pause on your right-hand side, if you can turn your head, there you go. So 495, it looks like a conference center room. Yep, that's right, 495, La Jolla Executive Conference Center. So there is a door handle.
Okay. It's this one here, right?
That's right.
Shopping, traveling, finding public transportation.
Okay, great. So there's a short hallway here with some frames on either side, some photos. So if you want to move ahead, we can move into the conference room.
Celeste, forward.
We're in a large conference room.
Okay.
So would you like to find a seat?
Yeah, I like sitting in the back.
Okay, great. Well, let's move forward.
Okay, Celeste, forward.
And how about the second to last row? If you want to turn left right here, there's an open chair.
That'll work.
You know, videos are often more engaging and easy to understand, if you will, than a textbook-like narrative.
There's an open chair directly ahead of you. You should be able to feel it.
All right. And can you tell me where's the podium?
Yeah, and so where you're seated, you are facing the front of the room where a speaker would be. That has a large TV screen. It looks like a video conference camera above it, as well as a projector that's hanging from the ceiling that would be pointed. So you're facing the front of the room. There's no speaker in yet, but when they arrive, they'll probably be facing you directly.
So we want to get more and more of our training in a video form.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you, Juan. Talk to you soon.
The public transportation one is good.
Hi Juan, thanks for calling Aira. This is Erin. I can see you're located on Executive Square. How can I help you today?
Hi, Erin. I need to get to my doctor's appointment at the VA. Can you help me get there?
We're going to start out by turning towards the right, towards Genesee Avenue. And we're looking for bus number 41.
Sometimes users can be overwhelmed actually attempting public transportation for the first time.
There's an open seat here to the right.
Thanks so much, Erin.
That might kind of show them that we are very capable of dealing with public transportation, making it much more simple and streamlined for the users themselves.
I'll ask the driver to let me know when I get to the VA stop.
So we've made about 13 different training videos that we then included in the online tool. And then we have an assessment after each section or concept. And we still have the in-person workshop so that we can review, those answers and have some dialogue and question and answer about each concept. And then obviously the process of getting agents to work with staff and friends and advisors and then real users is the same. We are working towards building our own tool. So imagine coming to the Aira website, there'd be a whole section for the agent community. And we want to have the ability to apply, go through all of the online training, as well as some video simulations that we could review and give feedback on. And then just, a great place for our agents to kind of collaborate and communicate. So that is coming as soon as we can build it. And I'm really excited just to continue to refine the training. I think we modified some of the information that we give agents just in terms of distilling it to the most important things. I think the manual that Patrick received was like 64 pages long. And so being realistic about if agents are going to really, really know and grasp 10 to 20 concepts, what are those? Making sure that those are a really solid foundation and then starting to kind of build continuous training throughout an agent's time with us. One other thing that Patrick has really helped lead essentially he was the first person to do this from the agent, was that onboarding session with our users before we would have Juan from our team, who is our lead for tech support. He would call each person and have them set up their glass and connect it to their MiFi that we send users and call in. And we really thought to scale and be able to bring on more people quickly, we are going to leverage agents to do that. So the agents have learned a lot about the product itself in terms of the hardware and are now reaching out to users and working with them for their very first exploration.
Okay, well, all we need is the MiFi, the little MiFi,
Gotcha.
your glass, your cell phone.
Aira Agent,
Go over a
Jessica
little bit.
Jakeway.
I'm assuming then that you have already logged into the app and downloaded it.
Yep.
You've got all that. Okay, just make sure you have all three of those items. So we're kind of seeing as we go what we can have people do before we call. We just walk them through downloading the app, and if they've forgotten their password, we'll help them with that. So when you signed into the app for the first time, I'm sure you accepted the terms of service. That's a one-time request. And then you also have to allow Aira to have access to Siri, just to allow for push notifications. We don't do that a lot. We don't send out a lot of notifications. It's just things that are really important, like if there's an update or something.
So an agent will call you as an explorer the day that we've scheduled and really, get your glass set up, connected to your MiFi, and then have you call in, and then they work with you on the dashboard to really go over the point of view that they have. So extending your arms from left to right and up and down so that users understand the point of view that the agent has, and just sort of turning your head from left to right and how far out to hold text for it to be able to read. Just kind of simple things that make it a lot easier for both the user and the agent to work together. And then we give a free 30-minute session, and we hope that users are ready to do something fun or productive. So try and encourage them to have something in mind.
Nice.
It's a kiosk type of building. So here we want to go around to perfect. Looks like we can order here. The cashier is actually a little bit towards the left. So you're standing in front of all the flavors of the macaroons.
Can you tell me what flavors they have?
Sure. I don't see that they have a menu, but let me pull the menu up online. One moment.
Do you have an ETA on when that agent website might be up and running?
I think it'll realistically be 3 to 6 months. I'd love it to be 3, but it'll just depend on how many developers we can get to build the website.
Not that users are directly involved, but it's just nice reinforcing information. How many agents are currently on board, Amy?
Currently, we have 8 agents, and we're actively hiring. We need many more. So I'm interviewing and likely won't close the position. We'll just kind of keep talent coming through and bring people on as we scale up our users.
Can you give us a snapshot of the qualifications, the pay, what types of hours, that kind of thing, in case potential agents are listening?
Sure, absolutely. We contract with our agents and we pay $15 an hour. Typical schedules, it really depends on the agent, on what they want to do. Patrick's a great example. For a while, he was probably working 15 to 20 hours a week, and now he's working pretty regularly, almost 40 hours a week. And we love that. We want agents to be able to grow with the company. And obviously, Patrick's one of our stars, so we want our stars to have the hours that they want. But we really are open to people that, maybe are in college or continuing education, and they say, I'm really up for about 8 hours a week. There's no problem with that. And in terms of qualifications, we do have a pre-screening test that we send before we invite you to interview. And that pre-screening test really looks at your ability to listen to a situation and request, navigate on Google Maps to find the location that the user is requesting. And we obviously throw in some kind of twists in there where there's multiple locations that have the same name, and ensure that they're able to listen to where the user was and discern, which location is the closest for them. We look at their ability to find public transportation, general sort of orientation and cardinal directions, and then a lot of just gauging for, I don't really like to use the term customer service, but really, what is someone's demeanor? Are they empathetic but not sympathetic? Are they open-minded? Are they someone that you would want to go have coffee with, right? Like if you're taking someone grocery shopping, if you're working with an agent grocery shopping and plan you're on for an hour, and you obviously want that to be a pleasant experience. So, each user kind of has their preference in terms of the amount of kind of extra detail or chit chat that they want to have. And so kind of looking for people that are able to gauge that quickly and understand both from the user's profile, but also just kind of to sense in the conversation what the user wants in that moment. So the ability to read people.
I would think the last point you made, Amy, the relationship with the agent is critical, because I imagine you get into some long calls and do you want to spend an hour with somebody who's inflexible, or you get the feeling you're pulling teeth to ask the next question? Patrick, what would you comment on all of that?
Well, we definitely don't ever want anyone to get the impression that they're calling a call center. Every one of our sessions is a personal experience. There is a lot of time on calls where you do have to have a conversation with somebody. You have to step outside of providing visual input, and you have to kind of fill the role as conversation. For instance, if a user is sitting waiting for somebody that, I have to tell them when the person's walking up. I've sat there on a call for over an hour having a conversation with somebody while they were waiting for a friend. So you have to be able to converse with lots of different people, and they're all different personalities. They all have different interests. So you have to be able to adapt to every call as it comes in. Every single call that comes in is basically an agent being put on the spot for the most part. We don't know what the call's about. We don't know how long it's going to be. We don't know what kind of tasks we're going to get into. So you have to be able to remain calm and use the technology. It's not uncommon technology, Google Maps and things like that, but you have to be able to use it correctly and efficiently and basically be put on the spot every single time you get a call and remain a friendly person on the other end. It's actually really great. All of our agents are so different and diverse too that even if the user wants to just utilize our personal skills or interests to try a new activity, for instance, I'm going to give a guitar lesson to see how that works, to see what kind of quality we can do. I know not every agent can give a guitar lesson, but I've talked to other users. I'm into golf. I'd love to give my personal advice on golf if anyone's interested in trying that. So our agents can offer so many different things, just what they're good at, all the different things they're great at.
Amy, in the future, if you have agents with specialized skills, like Patrick is a guitar player, golfer, or if another agent is into crafts, sewing, needlepoint, crochet, whatever, would you have the ability to route calls to a particular agent based on the user's needs?
Yeah, so that's something that's been in plan since I even arrived. The idea of can we have sort of specialized agents, badged agents, and one of the features that we will release to sort of users that are in either a preferred plan where they have access to that, or we'll look at, is it something that you could sort of schedule and have that kind of agent? We absolutely are working towards that. It already comes up organically, just like Patrick mentioned, that we've had people users who play the guitar. And so we have two agents, Patrick and Jess, who both play the guitar, and it kind of happens organically that, you discover that if you're working with an agent, they may mention, oh, I also play the guitar. Users want to be able to call and work with a specific agent. And right now we don't support that from a product point of view. There's no way for you to schedule a specific agent or call in, but absolutely want to get to that place where that's possible. The golf example is real as well. One of our users asked me, do you have any agents that I could schedule to play golf with? But I want someone that plays golf and is, going to be able to describe the course and the greens. And so I found out now that Patrick is a golfer and may set that up. So you can imagine it's like anything. If you're going to an art museum, you'd want to work with an agent who had an art history background, maybe. So the possibilities are endless, and I can't wait to get to sort of like agent badges where you are an expert at certain things and be able to route users to the agent that kind of fits their needs the best, but we're not quite there.
Excellent. Well, this thing just keeps growing, as far as the potential.
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing.
We are all finding it out as we go too.
Other duties. Amy, I know agents work one-on-one on sessions with users. Do they have other duties? And if so, tell us about them, please.
Yeah, so that's something that has evolved and will continue to evolve over time. I talked about sort of onboarding. That was something we piloted actually with Patrick, and he did a great job and the user had a great experience. So we thought, this is a good thing going. Why don't we train all of the agents to onboard our users? We have asked our agents to start kind of proactively reaching out to some users that maybe haven't called in a while, just to kind of check in and make sure that they don't have any tech issues, and just really genuinely we care, make sure that everything's okay. So Patrick's also taken some of those calls, just kind of checking in. In terms of other duties, we do ask agents to participate in what we call our agent community meetings. So we talk about, kind of the state of the product or things that are coming up. Maybe if we have conferences, what those schedules will be like, and just give general feedback on the things that we've noticed from users' feedback and their comments. So a little bit of kind of, refresh on skills or performance. And that's something I want to eventually, as we have more agents, kind of form smaller community teams where agents are able to share best practices, things that they've learned, experiences that they've had in terms of what they did to navigate an airport more efficiently, things like that. So we do ask that some of their time be outside of sort of being in an active session with the user.
Sure.
Just to kind of keep fresh on best practices. And I'm sure that we'll, as I mentioned, when we have the online agent community, we'll have the ability for them to kind of watch or read and kind of take an assessment on new concepts or things that we really want to reinforce.
Now, I know that user privacy is critical. Do you have a way for agents to learn about other agents' experiences with specific users, and not so much to focus on user habits and things like that, but is there a means to share that and yet still protect the privacy of the users?
There is. We ask agents to kind of share stories with their supervisor, so Erin and myself if needed, in terms of, if there was a situation that they had a question about, like if they should have handled it differently in the future. And I think, sharing the concept or the situation while keeping it anonymous is something that we encourage agents to do. And then if it's something that is not necessarily private in nature, like let's say, Pete, that you were going through the Atlanta airport and you ended the call because you were going to go to the restroom or go through security. Another agent might take your call. And so we do have Slack, which is like a communication tool where agents are able to say, hey, if you take Pete's call, he's in the Atlanta airport and he needs to get to gate C35.
Kind of transitional.
Exactly. So things that are not sensitive in nature, but pertinent to the task at hand, we do encourage agents to communicate real time directly with the other agents that are staff so that the user hopefully has as seamless of an experience as possible.
Yeah, every agent is constantly in contact with each other during a shift. Every agent that is on is always connected instantly. So we keep up with, if a call is ended or if a call gets disconnected or if it's a certain situation, we always relay the information, the maps, the tools, all that stuff that we found useful. We share those just to make sure that the user always gets the same kind of experience if they don't have the same agent when they do call back.
Amy, do you have any way of sharing various user experiences with other users to educate them as well?
So right now we have a listserv, the Aira Explorer listserv.
Hi all. Traveling once again as I have been doing 3 weeks out of the month lately. I called on Aira in Chicago O'Hare Airport this morning as I had a bit of time between flights and really did not feel like waiting for someone to assist me across the airport. For those who have not flown into O'Hare, it is a massive airport. I came into Terminal 1 at C22 and needed to go to E3 in a completely separate terminal. This is normally a 25-minute walk depending on airport traffic. I travel a ton for my job and normally can understand airport layouts quite well, but O'Hare has always eluded my spatial understanding. Where other airports have straight lines, O'Hare has diagonal crossings. It is extremely open and very difficult to understand directional sounds. I spoke to Sergio this morning and we were on our way. He had the map of the airport up on the dashboard and my video on another screen. As we walked, he was describing places I never knew existed in that airport that I had been to probably 50 different other times. We had to go through the underground walkway between the terminals and he was describing to me the psychedelic laser lights that are there for sighted people while they are walking through. Sounds totally uncomfortable, as I would be walking through an airport sleep deprived. He also explained to me that there was a couple taking up the moving walkway, not moving off to the side, so I might be better off just walking alongside the walkway as they did not seem to be moving at all. As this completely drives me nuts, I gladly took Sergio's advice. We walked through the B terminal and navigated to the E section, stopping occasionally for him to snap a pic of various signs etc. to make sure we were on the right track. Upon arriving at my gate, I asked him to show me where the counter was for later use, and then we went looking for a place for me to grab breakfast as I still had over an hour prior to my flight.
And we're able to both, send communication to all of our explorers as well as kind of respond to questions or concerns. And then users are responding to each other as well. So I think if there was something that we wanted to largely broadcast to all our explorers, we would use that tool.
More hours in the day means more time with Aira. Starting Saturday, April 1st, we will be extending our Aira hours until 10 p.m. PST, that is 11 p.m. MT, midnight for Central Time, and 1 a.m. for you East Coast users. This is a pilot for the month of April. User demand will determine if they continue past April. Just like spring, these hours may not last forever, so use them while you can. Amy Bernal, Director of Agent Services.
And then I think, we do still do a lot of kind of one-on-one feedback sessions. I take calls with explorers every week. I set aside kind of 2 halves of a day to just be on the phone and to get feedback from users. And I always try my best to follow up that same week with either questions they had or, experiences that they had and let them know, what actions we've taken. So if it's some sort of technical issue, for example, what the engineering team did to resolve that or how they could prevent that happening in the future.
Amy, let's talk about the company. We spoke with Suman back in July. Talk about what Aira has gone through, growing pains, expansion, since last summer of 2016.
Last summer, essentially, we were still in a beta trial phase. We had users that were beta users and not actual explorers, meaning they had not paid a subscription fee. We had not shipped them glasses that they, could keep for as long as they wanted the service. We were having a lot of sessions, but they were in a beta trial phase, if you will. Since that time, we have done so many things. We've set up an online subscription service for users to be able to select a plan. We have a new modified version of the glasses that are sent out to our users. We learned from our first few explorers who were using their cell phone hotspot for connectivity for their glasses. They would have to connect their glasses to their cell phone's hotspot. That was really kind of problematic for some of our users. And you can imagine, a lot of people have unlimited data, but not all of us. And so there was, some questions about how much data would it use, et cetera. So we have a partnership with AT&T. And with that, we have a corporate account where we're able to send our users an AT&T MiFi device. So it is a standalone hotspot. And now their glass, when they receive their glass in the mail, it is already programmed to connect instantly with that MiFi and sort of kind of programmed and locked down so that hopefully a user opens the box, they push the button to turn the MiFi on, they unfold their glass, and their glasses are already connected. So that was a big win, I think, for us and for our user base to just have that ease of use and kind of worry-free about their own data usage. People ask, well, my phone's, Sprint or Verizon. It really doesn't matter. Your glass is just connecting to that device. At the end of September, we really brought on our first explorers. In March, we'll just take direct sign-ups. So it's really in thanks to the earlier explorers who really helped, unfortunately, teach us some of the bugs that existed in the system. And so really proud of how far we've come from the first explorers to, someone that is brought on this week. Hopefully, Pete, when you become an explorer in the next week or so, you'll experience a somewhat seamless experience of just opening the box and putting on the glass and connecting with an agent.
Good stuff. You had a stellar performance at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas during January. Talk a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, we were so excited to be there, and really were able to be there through not necessarily winning an award, but being selected by the CTA Foundation to have a booth at Eureka Park. So Eureka Park is one of the many ballrooms, if you will, showcasing the startup community. And within that, there's a section that CTA basically pays for and has applicants apply to have a booth at CES. So it was just a really big honor and kind of a huge deal for us to even get that far. So to be selected and be at CES, that was awesome. And then when we were there, we were super fired up to win the Best New Technology Award from PC Magazine. And we also won the Best Accessibility Technology Award from the CTA Foundation. So those were just really cool for us. We got a lot of media exposure, even regardless of the awards. We had Juan, who works for Aira and is also blind. He was able to do an interview for CNN Espanol. So he went on and talked and really kind of spread the word to a new demographic maybe that had not heard about us. We were also featured in, I can't even name all of the kind of local publications of people that came by. So it was really exciting and really a fun experience.
Talk about your coverage, your global outlook. Currently, you're available to users only in the continental United States. Do you have plans to expand to other countries, Canada, Mexico? And another question a user asked, who's planning on traveling to Ireland, I think. Is there any chance that they would have access to Aira from outside the country?
Yep. So we absolutely have plans to expand globally. We will start in Canada and likely Australia or the UK. In terms of people traveling, we don't have an international data plan with our AT&T MiFis yet. So what we encouraged him to do was just simply extend his personal cell phone data plan to be global, which he would have done anyways for his business travels. And then we'll just have a special session where we make sure that he's able to connect his glass to his phone's hotspot. Yeah, we don't stop users from calling in if they're abroad. I know Suman, our CEO, went on vacation to Japan, I think it was in August or September. And he called in many times to test from Tokyo and had, a really great experience. So we're not going to say no to anyone in terms of where they're going to be to call in. We're just not at the point where we guarantee service.
So as long as the connectivity's there, she's good to go.
Yeah, and she'd have to connect she'd have to know the time difference to make sure that it was inside the hours of service.
Essentially 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're on the East Coast, it's 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. If you're in the middle, it's somewhere in the middle of all those things.
Yeah.
And we do want to, in the next 2 months, pilot a 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. extension of hours. We've had users really ask for that, especially on the West Coast. I'm thinking in the next 2 months, we'll start service until 10 p.m.
Conventions. I know you were at CSUN. What about NFB and ACB? Will Aira be there this year?
We will be at NFB and I believe ACB. So we'll always have a booth. We'll always have an opportunity for people to come up, walk up, try Aira, take it for a spin around the convention hall or outside to explore what's nearby. So that's another thing that our team is working really hard on is how could we have sort of an opportunity for people that are interested to try Aira without, mailing glasses all around the world?
I feel like that is something that agents should be taking into our own hands, at least in our communities, because we do reach further than San Diego. I know I don't necessarily have the ability to go everywhere on the East Coast, but I know at least in my community, I can make a difference and tell people about it and give more specific information just to people that have never heard about it. We all are trying to do even our smallest parts to try and get the information out there to more users. Showing Aira to people and talking about it and seeing the amount of people that come up at these shows and seek out you because they've heard about it. They come up and like, I have to see this. I've heard about this. So I think, realistically, the word of mouth is working so well that we could probably just sit back with our feet up at these booths and get a line of people interested. That's how it feels, at least from what I've been involved in. People are so excited to hear about us, and we're even more excited to tell them. Getting to see these users and potential users and people throughout the community and all the different companies and meeting them really makes you understand that the community itself is very special too. It's really amazing being a part of it.
Amy, talk about where you want Aira to go and where you see Aira maybe a year, 2 years down the road.
I think Aira can go anywhere right now. Obviously, our users are blind or individuals with visual impairments, but you can imagine the same concept applying to a lot of different people. I think of, my grandma and other older adults that I would love to know that if she needed something that she could click a button and be connected to someone that was skilled and helpful and really available for her whenever she needs. So I think, 2 years from now, we'll have also started to maybe move into other user bases that have the same, kind of beneficial experience from connecting to an agent. Obviously, that will mean having agents that are trained in a slightly different way to really be beneficial and assisting that population, whatever that looks like. I would say in the next year, I'm excited to really have our agent population, our user population explode and get to the place where you know what an Aira agent is. You've heard about that as a really exciting opportunity because we're really kind of creating a new occupation, if you will. It's not like anything else that's out there in terms of the ability to interact and engage with people
yes.
in a way that's not like a customer service call. So it's just a really cool new job that we've really
Yeah,
made
my job
up.
didn't exist 6 months ago.
Totally.
And I've
And-
told other people there's less Aira agents than the NFL head coaches in the world. So for the ones that are a part of it now, we all realize how extremely lucky we are. People come up and like, well, how did you hear about this? Or, what is your job? I'm like, well, honestly, my job has only existed, at least outside of testing, for 4 or 5 months. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say exactly what my job is. It's a lot of things.
You're pioneering it as we speak.
Yeah.
There's no definition yet.
Amy, why don't you give us some of the contact information for Aira, the website, any other credentials that our users might go to find more information about your product?
Sure. So you can go to our website, which is www.aira, which is AIRA.io. And there you'll be able to see how to sign up as an explorer. You'll see the ability to directly sign up and select a plan, as well as contacting us. You can send us an email directly through our site, or you can give us a call at any time, 858-876-2472. And we do obviously have people in the office pretty much 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, but we will get back to you just as soon as we can if you call outside of those hours.
Okay, great. So they have their classic flavors, which is Caribbean chocolate, coconut, Colombian coffee, and their seasonal special today is pumpkin.
Okay, sounds good.
The cashier is located towards the left. So if you walk straight ahead, you'll feel the kiosk here, and then the cash register is going to be about 3 or 4 side steps to the left.
Okay, great. You have your seasonal, which is pumpkin, right?
Yes.
I want to get 4 of those. Can I get maybe another 4 of the Caribbean chocolate, and then 1 of each of the other flavors you mentioned to make up the 12? Awesome. Great.
This concludes part 4 in our series on Aira, but you'll be hearing more from Blind Abilities about Aira. Stay tuned for our interview with Erich Manser, a blind runner who just completed the Boston Marathon with the assistance of Aira. For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter, or by email at info@blindabilities.com. And of course, download our free app in the App Store. That's Blind Abilities, 2 words. In the meantime, thanks so much for listening, and have a nice day.
When we share
what we see through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the realities of blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, Blind Abilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.